All right. So good morning. Welcome to the Productivity Coaching Program. Today it is November 10th. Just came back from a one-day meeting in the Bay Area with our ALC. So our leadership team for people meeting for the 2022 year. So that's pretty exciting. And so now I'm just trying to get reacclimated to being back at work here and doing the normal thing. So I don't see if I'm going to see if I have any new agents. I do have one, I believe. Janet, I think you spoke last week for a minute, but Janet, I don't know if you can come on the screen. If you can, we'd love for you to introduce yourself to us.
Hi, everyone.
Okay. Hi. So that's right. You had a computer issue last week. So maybe that's the same thing. Let's see, I have a few more coming in. Here we go. Okay. So Janet, welcome.
Hello.
Janet already has written her first contract as of last night. So she's hitting the ground running. Really exciting. And hopefully she'll get accepted. So it's always exciting when that happens. We're wishing you good luck. We also had a couple of closings this week. Let's see. I didn't write it down. Raina had a closing come in, and also Chris Irvine had a closing. So congratulations to them. And I think that from what I know, Jacob wrote an offer. So that's kind of what I know is going on at the moment. There you are, Janet. Do you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
Yes. Hi, my name is Janet, and I'm glad to be here. So can't wait to meet everybody.
Good. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's see, Melody. Melody, you, I believe, are new as well. Melody just got her license, I heard. So welcome, Melody. Can you show your face by any chance? It's really great when you guys can actually show your faces, so we're not just talking to names.
Oh my God.
And I know sometimes you're at work, and that I totally get. I appreciate that you're even trying to listen, but it's really hard for a meeting. It's much better to be in person. We're a real small, intimate group. So it's really nice to see your face. And that's how we kind of get to know each other. Because then you show up at a mixer or you show up at a function. And for instance, Jonathan, who I've spoken to for the last year, I finally met him about a month ago in person. Right, John? So you like look at people and you're going, I know you from somewhere. Well, I've known you from the Zoom call I've been on for the last year and a half with you. So so it's very nice to at least be able to see the faces and get the connection, because we're missing that. And having been at a leadership meeting for the last couple of days, it was very nice to see people I've been watching on Zoom in these leadership meetings for the last year and a half, and getting to meet some of them. And again, just recognizing people that you've been seeing all this time. So when you can, I really appreciate when you're on these meetings, if you can show your face. Just a couple quick reminders. There's still RPA classes coming up. There's one tomorrow, on Friday. There's one on the 18th, one on the 1st, and one on the 7th. If you haven't yet signed up for your residential purchase agreement class, you really should make the effort to do that. Now that's through car.org. So those are $75. You can still look at your associations at either CVAR or LAR and see if they are offering some at a little bit less, a lesser rate. But just so you know, there are still some from California Association of Realtors, one being Friday. So please look into that. December's right around the corner, and we have to plan for that. You have to know the RPA. We are going to have a speaker come in at 11. So I'm going to actually break this call 5 minutes before that so we can transition. So it's going to be a little shorter real meeting today. And then we will have our speaker come in. And as you can probably see, we've been getting people coming into the office right now, which is very nice. We are going to figure this out, because this isn't going to work when I can't even see who's here. I feel weird. They're all here. Yeah. So we'll do this a little different next time. But as we said, we're learning. A couple other reminders. Tomorrow, Thursday night Twilight class is canceled. Tomorrow is a holiday, and so the offices are officially closed tomorrow. The ladies won't be at the front desk. They won't be answering the phones. So you are still allowed to use the offices if you want to meet clients or you want to work. I just want you to understand that the staff is not in tomorrow due to the holiday. And script is canceled as well tomorrow. So nothing tomorrow evening for Twilight session. And along with that, the Thursday scripts that used to be at 2 o'clock will now be 5:30 on Thursdays prior to twilight session. So
Good.
now twilight session is basically an hour and a half. The first half hour being scripts, and then the other hour being either Arthur or Danny doing what they need to do. There is a book club meeting tonight that is still happening. So Arthur just held me up a reminder. So please remember that if you're in the book club group. If not, I'm sure you're very welcome to attend. Just maybe email Arthur and he'll send you the link if you don't have it. What else? Let's see. Boot camp next week. If you have not been to boot camp, I really want you to go to boot camp next week, Thursday, Friday, if you don't have another job consideration. It's 8:30 to 12:30. If you do not go to boot camp next week because of your job you have during the day, please reach out to me on Friday after the class. And once the videos are uploaded or the recordings, I can forward them to you. So part of your contract states that you need to attend boot camp, because that is where we introduce you to contracts, and we give you, you're not going to learn them all there, but at least you will have a good introduction and you'll have a familiarity. And so you really need to be in those classes. Those are super important. And we run you through questions to ask your lender, questions to ask your buyers, how to find buyers, questions for your listings, that kind of thing. So it is really important. So please make an effort. Registration is by Tuesday at noon, because I do have to prepare some documents, some forms I need to send out to you. So please register by noon. It's really hard when you start registering at the last second, because then I have to do everything all over again. And there's all kinds of things going on. Christmas party, December 3rd, 6 to 11. You've all heard that one before, but hopefully if you've been thinking about it, you've been on the fence, now you decide you want to go. $45 a person. And then I wanted to share one other thing with you. I have a few more people just joined. So you may have to lower your volume, Sandy, which is fine, just so because you'll hear me here and it won't echo. Okay, right? Mm-hmm. So let's see. So just so y'all know, we have 19 people on the screen on the Zoom call, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in person. So pretty good. Very nice. Hopefully a few more will join for the speaker that's coming at 11. I did want to share one other thing with you. Some of you have heard about K-Score. We talked about it either last week or the week before. K-Score is the Keller Williams School of Real Estate. I've had several of you reach out to me, very good, to let me know that you might have a possible person that might be interested in that. The way it works is there's only 2 people that can actually give out a code for K-Score for the licensing program to these individuals. I'm one of them and Michele is the other. I'm the first person in this case because Michele doesn't have time to be answering all those calls. So what we're going to do is I've created a form. I actually sent it to Audrey. I don't know if you saw it.
Yes.
Audrey.
Yep, I got it.
Thank you. So what I'm going to, and this is a test. So here's the thing. You guys all know about it really more than anyone else in the office yet, but we're going to use you as guinea pigs for the next couple of days because they're still ironing out things at the higher level. And we're of course still ironing them out at our level. But so the way it might work is I've created a form. All you have to do is text me, and I'm going to share the form with all the success coaches as well, so that you can even reach out to your success coach. But you're going to text them and say, hey, I have a lead for the Keller Williams School of Licensing. They will send you this form, and or I will actually share it with all of you too. But in case you forget, they will send it out to you. It's a Google Drive form. It's like 6 things you have to complete. And that will then feed into a spreadsheet, which will then notify me that you want me to call Mickey Mouse because they are interested in the School of Real Estate. It's the easiest way to do it so that I'm not getting a bunch of texts, because I already get about 100 every 2 hours. If I keep getting these, then I'm going to forget to call your people because it's overwhelming. And so this way, if I have it on a spreadsheet, I can then look at that maybe every morning at a certain time and call those people. It may take 24 hours, so please bear with me because I do have other appointments going on throughout the day, but this is going to be a systematic way so that we can reach out to those people you are interested in referring to the School of Real Estate. On that form, Audrey, and like Audrey, we had this conversation this morning, so I asked if she could help me. So what I will do is Audrey will call me or text me, rather text me with it, or text your success coach and say, I need the K-Score form, referral form. And then you complete that, and I'm going to show you what it looks like real quick.
Okay.
So that would be the other thing, Arthur. We'd need to see.
Make sure it's up here.
Yeah, we'll need to cast up there from now on too.
Gotcha.
Okay. Um, hang on. If it opens, I will show you.
You're sharing screen.
I'm sharing the screen.
Yeah, I can. see
Okay,
on
now
my
it just opened. Can you guys see the screen that says K-Score licensees?
No.
Okay, let me refresh. Okay, how about now?
Yes.
Okay, good. So this is the form I shared with Audrey. And basically I see something I already need to fix, which I'll fix as soon as I get off this call. But it's going to have agent name first. So Audrey would put her name and then, so yeah, I see something messed up. No, yeah. Okay. So basically it's going to have your name first so that we don't lose track of who that is, because we want you to get credit for this person, because the idea is they're going to come in, take this licensing class, and then we're going to woo them so that they understand all the great things that Keller Williams has to offer. And then hopefully they will then, once they get their license, we will get them, or prior to their license getting completed, we will sign them up and we will ask who influenced you to come to Keller Williams, and they're going to say you, right? In this case, they would say Audrey. So
Okay.
we want to track all this so that's how Audrey will build what?
Profit share.
Yeah, her downline, her profit share. So this is really important. This is important for everyone. It's important for the company. It's important to you, because this is how you have the opportunity to build profit share. So it will have the agent's name being Audrey in this case. And then this is where it got out of order. But the licensee's name, we're going to want their phone number, their email, the date you did this. So that way I know, oh my God, I haven't called this person. It's been 24 hours. That's going to be my trigger. And also please include their area code for their phone number. And yeah, I see something really messed up here. And then you're also any special notes. So if there's something you want me to know about this person that I should know, just to, like, even when I go into conversation with them, oh, it's Audrey's sister-in-law. Oh, hi, you're Audrey's sister-in-law, right? It's always a good way to have some kind of conversation with someone besides something cold. It's like not such a cold call, it's a warm call. So Audrey, don't fill this one out. I will resend it. I can see it's already a mess.
Mine doesn't look like that.
That's because
Excuse
I
me.
went in to tweak it before this meeting, and when I did it, it threw everything out of order. So I will just redo it and I will resend it to you shortly. Okay, just so it's done correctly. So just so you all know, once this is filled out, it feeds to a spreadsheet, and that's going to help me track, and that's how we're going to do this. And then from there, just so you know, we're also going to start putting them all on a smart plan so that these people will have that interaction between Keller Williams and knowing things we have. And in December, there's even more being rolled out for people in this position that we can again influence them to Keller Williams and all the great things about Keller Williams. So this could be a win-win for everyone. So it's very exciting. And like I said, we're all kind of figuring it out, but it will be, I'm pretty confident it will be, the ducks will be in a row within the next couple of days. And I will start calling them today. Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
So one question is, what if I had somebody a little bit before the KW school? What if it's on the first one was EP Real Estate School or something?
Yeah. So the way that was a very good question, Nate. So Nate asked, what if they already started through Executive Programs Real Estate School? That's fine. They're already in that program. We can't do anything about that. But what we do for those people is once they sign up with Keller Williams and on their first transaction, as long as they have verification that they went through Executive Programs Real Estate School, we will reimburse them. So basically it will be free as well. It's just they paid up front. And with Keller Williams School of Real Estate, they don't have to pay anything up front. So it evens out in the long run. They do have to sign up with us. They do have to have a transaction with Executive Programs that actually clears, but that's more incentive to get one into gear, right? So it is a win-win in that case as well. And just so it's clear, that is only with Executive Programs Real Estate that we reimburse. It's not with Allied or First Tuesday or any of those other courses that people go through. We have a partnership with Executive Programs that we've maintained. I anticipate we will still maintain it if someone wants to use that program. But for people that's calling brand new, fresh, they're probably going to opt for the free one, I would think. So, any other questions on that? Nope. Okay, so let me share, last week we also, so let me stop that share. We also were talking about disclosures last week, and there was one part of it that I did not get to that I really wanted to share with you as well. And let me put that on the screen here. So I talked about disclosures, and when I talked about that, I mentioned that these are all things that have to be done in order for you to get paid. And can you guys see the KW Stockton Tracy Lodi, or did it not show?
Mm-mm. No.
It didn't show.
So ultimately, when you guys put a transaction, or your transaction coordinator puts a transaction into command, there are all these forms that have to be completed in order through a transaction in order for you to get paid. So I wanted to at least share this with you. And this is also in your orientation booklet, but maybe you've never seen it or paid attention because you didn't know what it meant. But these are ultimately the documents that have to be done in order to get paid. So on this, those of you on the screen, and I'm sorry, the others of you might not be able to see, but there's a lot in red. Those are all in every transaction. Those are documents your transaction coordinator is sending back and forth. Some of these we reviewed last week, and you all got to ask questions about them. Some of them are just part of the regular listing packet or the regular RPA packet. You'll also see there's some here that are in black, and those say if apply. So those only happen if they need to happen and because of that specific transaction. So those aren't on every transaction. They're only on specific transactions. But just be aware, all these red ones, these are on every transaction. And these are just, so you see the top says the listing. So those are regarding a listing. The next one says all of those regarding a purchase. And then you come down to disclosures. Those are what we covered last week. So all those red ones are always required in order to get paid. Okay. Then you see right here, we talked about new builds. These are the few that are required on a new build. A lot different, right? Just these in blue. So I believe we also do an agency disclosure. I'm not sure, it's not on here, but I would probably recommend you did that. But these are important documents. So if and when you get into a transaction, know that this is what's coming. This is all part of it. So I wanted to review that. There is one for each market center. This one happens to be that I opened is the 523 Stockton Tracy Lodi. The other one is the Modesto Manteca. I'm not going to share that with you right now, but basically they're almost exactly the same. Okay. And then I wanted to show one other thing real quick, because I don't think we covered this one. There were two other disclosures I didn't get to cover. And one was your verification of property condition. I don't think I touched on that last week. This one comes up a lot. In fact, it's in every transaction. Can you guys see verification of property condition?
No.
Okay. So this is in every transaction. At the end of your transaction, you're in escrow, and it's 5 days prior to your anticipated close of escrow. Your transaction coordinator is going to say, make sure you get the VP done, because they just call it by the initials, VP, right here, the acronym. So this document is where you need to take your buyer through the home one more time. You need to make an appointment if it's occupied, or you need to, if it's vacant, just you can just probably go if it's vacant. But you need to go and do a final walkthrough of the home and make sure that the home looks in the same condition it was in when you wrote your offer. If there were any repairs that were requested, make sure that the repairs have been conducted and that they're done. And then basically you see all these lines right here. You don't have to fill anything else out on these lines if everything was done as it was planned to be done. Okay, if it's exactly like it looked when you wrote the offer, and if all the repairs were done, you don't need to fill this out. And then all you need to do is have your client sign it right here where it says buyer. And then you send it to the listing side, and the seller will sign it as well. So that is the final document in your transaction. It has to be signed by both parties. Sometimes maybe your buyer is out of town and they do not wish to take that little trip to Stockton, Lodi, or any of our areas. And so they will waive it. And so they can mark this box here and waive it, but they again have to sign it. And this is important. Again, you want to get paid at the end of the transaction. So make sure when they ask for this document, you know what they're looking for. If you look at your contract and read it, it says 5 days prior to close of escrow. that this should be done. So it is also on the RPA. Okay, so I wanted to make sure you were aware of this. And then there was one other form we didn't get to touch on last week. I wanted to just quickly go over. It's very quick, and then we'll transition to the next speaker.
Question, Barb.
Yes, question.
Okay, so if, say the client's out of town,
Mhm.
if they ask us to do it for them, can we, or we just don't do it?
So honestly, I have done it for them and I've documented it that way. On these lines, I've put, buyer was not able to attend final walkthrough, asked agent to do it for them. And so in today's world, we can do that with our cameras, right? We can do a FaceTime or something and walk through with the client and show them.
Okay.
See, the water heater is now braced and strapped, or whatever the thing, the broken window is now fixed. There are no more cracks in it. You could do that and you would document it here and then you would send it to them to sign. So again, it's CYA. You're letting them know, this is what you asked me. I've done it for you. And to the best of my abilities, and now please sign. Okay. so
Okay.
good question. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions? I had one, Raina. I think you asked.
Yeah, what if there is an issue?
If there is an issue, you're going to document it on these lines, and you're going to also then as soon as you get out of that inspection or walkthrough, you're going to call that listing agent and say, hey, you didn't fix the water heater. It's not braced and strapped, or the window is still cracked. We need to get this fixed, or we're holding up at close of escrow.
Okay, so it doesn't
Okay.
close until those things are fixed.
Right. It has to be closed or completed. Yes. Okay. Any other questions?
And then is there an additional walkthrough after those things are fixed?
There is not an additional walk. Well, yeah, I mean, you want to make sure they're done. Otherwise you can't.
Don't sign those things.
Right. Don't sign it until it's done.
Okay.
Correct. That's a good point. That was, the question was, is there an additional walkthrough after they're fixed? So my recommendation would be, don't have them sign it until those are taken care of. That's probably why you would call the other agent and let
Okay.
them know. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
There is one other thing, and I'm not sure, I think we did talk about this last week, but remember, there's so many people staying in their homes for 10, 15, 20, 30 days after close of escrow. Chris wants this again, or both brokers want this signed again after that final walkthrough when you transfer keys, for those people that have seller in possession. Okay, everyone understand that? Okay,
Say that one more time.
I'm sorry.
Say that one more time.
So if you have a seller in possession, so someone, I think like in your case, Audrey,
Right.
where the seller is staying there an additional 30 days, the
Mhm.
brokers still want you to have a final walkthrough prior to the key transfer, prior to you handing the key, or the other agent handing the keys. But see, you were the buyer. No, you were, yeah,
Right.
you were the buyer.
You were the
So,
buyer.
prior to that transfer of keys, you want them to sign it, saying that everything is the way it should be. You know, they didn't leave all their garbage. It's still not sitting there. The house is empty, free, and clean, and like it was supposed to be, like it was when
Right.
you did the first final walkthrough. So I guess they're like two final walkthroughs.
Okay, so it is two. Okay.
Yeah, it is a little confusing because we haven't, like I mentioned before, this is kind of something that's happening a lot in our current market, but wasn't before so much.
What if they do leave and it closes and there's still garbage and we have to have the garbage taken out? What do we do with that bill?
Well, you could, yeah. So Beth asked, what if there is still garbage and they have left? What do we do with that bill? Well, that's a challenge. So if there, I know a lot of cases, people are keeping a security deposit so you
Right.
could hold it.
That's
But,
true.
you know, sometimes you may get stuck with it, or the buyer may, but so that's why we do these walkthroughs, to eliminate some of that. You might get on the phone and call the other agent and say, hey, you know, your client was responsible for this. You are part of this, and it hasn't happened. So you can try and push that envelope. But I mean, at some point, someone's going to give, you know, people.
Well,
get
if
away
you've
with
got the
a lot of crap.
deposit, that's a good
It's a good holdout,
motivator.
yeah. So, and that's usually a great motivator for people to do the right thing, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
that's kind of the best thing you can do at this point, Raina.
So then who would keep that deposit?
Well, a lot of escrow companies are not holding deposits. So what's happening is the deposits are a lot of times going to I get confused here, to the new buyer is holding the deposit until the previous seller moves out. And then the new buyer has to reimburse that deposit to the previous seller.
Mhm. Mhm.
You do it like how, property management companies do it, where they have like a money order, and if everything's good to go, they basically return that money order.
You could do that, but mostly it's being given out through escrow.
But we don't hold that check.
We don't hold it. It's the buyer. So honestly, that would be a good way to do it through a money order. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it gets a little hairy. So when you're in those situations, reach out to your success coach so they can guide you through it. Because every title company does it a little bit differently. Used to be they just hold it for you, but they don't. Most of them do not do that. Okay. So we're going to transition. If you guys can all please stay on the screen, but we're going to do a short transition here to the speaker. And, you know, like I said, if you haven't signed up for boot camp, please sign up. And thank you for hanging in. And we're going to hear New York Life present to us in just a moment. Arthur is still working on some of those technical details. I don't know, but so I'm going to sign off because he may be able to do it better with my computer. Oh, they got it. They're getting there. Okay, hang tight. I'm going to go ahead and see what I need to do with you guys. Arthur, do I need to do transitions here?
He's gonna do the camera. He's gonna need to.
So
come
you
this
want me
way.
to move?
Oh, no, I'll turn
Oh,
this.
okay.
You're fine. And then I'll move myself back this way.
And I'm still recording, right? So it's okay.
So Barb, you're gonna resend that form to me. Don't fill this one out. Oops, I can't hear you now.
Correct, correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. If I could get your attention, please. 1 second. All right, can everybody hear me? I can. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming today. And thank you, Barbara, for letting us do this presentation. My name is Janet McMahon, and I am actually on your ALC here in the Manteca office. I've been with Keller Williams for almost 10 years, and I got in the business in 2009 during the market crash. How fun was that? So, and what I remember hearing when I got into the business in 2009 was all of these agents were dropping off like flies. They were leaving the business because the market crashed. They made all kinds of money in 2004, 5, 6, and then boom, the business stopped. Why? I think it's because they didn't plan. They didn't plan when the going was good. And so I didn't want to do that myself. And let's be honest, this year's been a great year for real estate. And it looks like it's going to continue to be a good year, or next year will be a good year. So I'm at a time in my life.
Okay, my sound just went off. Great.
She's muted.
Can't hear you.
And insurance services. And they have me on a program that I'm so excited about. I want to share that with all of you. So 2009 doesn't happen again to you guys. So
It's hard to hear.
we're connected. Okay, so I want to introduce you, Selena Masowski and Scott Anson with New York Life, and they're going to show you how to plan for your future, because you can't predict the future, but you can plan for it.
Thank you, Janet. And she has our tagline memorized. I love it. I love the support. Just first off, want to thank Janet for extending the invite here to us today to be with you guys and meet and share some information with you guys. Again, as Janet said, Scott and I have been with New York Life for, I wouldn't say several years, but a few years now. And prior to New York Life, I was a special education teacher for years. And the reason I share that with you all is because just like it's important for you guys with your buyers and your sellers to educate them on all the ins and outs and things they don't know about, I carry that whole education, aspect over into what Scott and I do with meeting with our clients every day. Scott has over 20 years of experience in the finance industry, and he loves to be able to show small business owners and clients that we work with the impact that our planning can really have on them. So that's just a little bit about Scott and I. New York Life. Why New York Life? Why did we pick New York Life to represent us? And quite frankly, they are the nation's largest and #1 mutual company in the United States. So what that means for you guys, for our clients, is if you put a plan in place today, 10, 20, 30 years from now, when you need that plan and that money, it's going to be there for you. This slide's a little bit dated, but the information is all still until they need to update it. But this is our 700th anniversary, and we have paid out dividends as a company every single year. Again, that's important because we work hard for our money. Our clients work hard for their money. So if you're going to put $1 with a company, you want to make sure that it has the backing to be able to grow and make your money work. I'm not going to read off everything on this slide here. You guys can read, but I do think it's important to share with you about the financial strength and ratings. The reason being is when we're in school, we're groomed that the best grade that we can get is that A+. In the financial world, that's not the case. We all get grades. We can't hide anything we do. It's public knowledge. But the grade that you really want to look for in the financial industry is that A++ or AAA rating. And so I think that's worth sharing with you guys. Again, a little education, a little knowledge. But why Scott and I are really here
We can't hear. Barbara, would you please unmute? We cannot hear.
we're going to stick with that. Now, with a 401k and individual retirement accounts, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but can't access that money until age 59 and a half. If you do, you're going to get hit with penalties in addition to the taxes. So just show of hands or a volunteer. Right now, currently in our environment, do you think our tax environment and how we get taxed is high or low? Low? Why is that? You're absolutely right. We, in the last 15, 20 years, have been in the lowest tax rate for quite some time. And with everything that has transpired and gone on with COVID and the stimulus and extra spending, and like you said, inflation and whatnot, taxes, I don't have a crystal ball, like we say at New York Life, but taxes most likely are going to be higher when we retire. To keep things simple, I'm going to use the 30% that we're at right now. So using this example, if someone has that $100,000, they're going to get taxed 30%, which is going to leave client A with $70,000 at retirement. That's a big chunk when you think about that, being taken out of a retirement nest egg. Now we have client B. Client B, when they met Scott and I, did a great job saving, had good habits, had the $50,000 in that 401k. But what we decided to do is take that other $50,000. So we're keeping it the same, $100,000 for each client. And we are going to put that money and create another bucket into what a tax-free growth vehicle. And this is the tax diversifying. It's shifting funds that we're talking about. Now, this client B is still going to retire at age 65. Client B, because they've contributed less to the 401k, the 50,000 as opposed to 100,000, they're going to get taxed less. It's the more you make, the more they take. Uncle Sam is going to get his hand in his pocket anyway that he can, unfortunately. So to combat the taxes, we create these buckets. So only going to get taxed on 20%. That tax bracket is going to be lower. 20% on 50,000, that client B is going to be left with $40,000. Now, this tax-free growth vehicle, it's not a trick question. How much do you think client B is going to be left with of that $50,000? Exactly, 50,000. So client B in total is going to be left with $90,000. Now, let me ask you, which client would you rather be? Client A, the 70,000, client B with the 90,000? Show of hands, who would want to be client A? Client B. And why? Why is that? You have more money. In addition to having more money, and let me just say, you guys, like Scott and I are not opposed to 401ks whatsoever. We set them up for small business owners and employers all the time. But if there isn't a match there, there's no incentive for the employee. The employer gets the write-off for contributions, but not opposed to them whatsoever. I'm just stating the facts and pointing out differences because these are the ins and outs, just like you know in your business, that a lot of our clients don't realize. So we've created some tax-free growth. We also have now created an emergency fund. With the 401k, like I mentioned before, you can't access that money before 59 and a half. Well, with this tax-free growth vehicle, you can have this emergency fund. Say 5 years down the road, you need a new roof on your house. You can pull this money out. Say 7 years down the road, you want to invest in real estate. You can take from that without having to pay penalties and taxes. So it almost becomes your own banking of taking in, pulling out, without having to go through the bank for approval and worry about, higher rates. The other thing that this can do for you is, in the 401k, like I said, it only accumulates. This does 4 things. So far, just for a recap, it's tax-free. We've created the emergency fund. It also has a built-in disability plan. And what I mean by that is, say for whatever reason, you're driving, you get in a car accident, and you can't do your work. You're deemed disabled. Who do you think is going to contribute to the 401k if that is the situation and you can't work? No one, exactly. Well, with this, New York Life will step in and effectively fund this plan. It's a way that we protect our clients and give back to our clients. And what is really good about this is, even if, say, someone was a doctor and they can't do that job anymore because of maybe fine motor skills or whatnot, but they get another job making good money, even though they're back to work, New York Life will still continue to fund that because they're not able to do their original job. I mean, it's huge. And we're able to do that again, because back to slide 1 that I showed you, our portfolio performance and our surplus. The last thing, say client A is driving and the worst thing happens and they don't make it home. They get in that car accident. What do you think their beneficiary is going to get out of that 100,000? Any idea? Uncle Sam's not that mean. They'll get the 70,000. So the beneficiary will still have to pay the tax on that money, but they'll get the remainder. Client B, on the other hand, will get 10 to 20 times that amount. And the reason being is because all of our plans that I'm talking about here have a built-in death benefit. Like I said at the beginning, New York Life started out as a life insurance company. So they emphasize the importance of that. And it's just another added bonus. So currently, right now, how many of you guys, honestly, are client A? Client A and have a 401 or a SEP or Okay, how many of you are client B? Janet? Okay, great. Awesome. I applaud you guys back there. How many of you would like to be client B or learn more about what this looks like for you individually? That's what we're going to show you next, and then we'll be done. I chose this illustration, this example to share with you guys. We chose a 35-year-old, and the reason we chose that age is in your industry for realtors, the average age is 35 to 40. The average age of a home buyer in the United States is 27 to 40. So we thought 35 was just a functional number to use with you guys, to share with you guys. In this illustration, we have the client contributing $12,000 a year, which is $1,000 a month. We use that number because with IRA accounts, there's maximums that you can contribute on there. It's usually $6,000 a year. So this shows the flexibility of this plan that, you know, you can really steroid it up per se and make that flexibility and adjustments to contribute more. So this client we have paying into this plan for 15 years. After that 15-year mark, if the client would like, they can start doing what we all dream of and retiring and having that supplemental income coming in on that tax-free basis. Now, keep in mind, we set this plan up for this client to pay in for 15 years. We're paying back for 20 years, 5 more years than they had to even pay in. The average, I'm going to round, $36,000 a year, about $3,000 a month is what they'll get for that 20 years. Now, at the end of it, I want you to pay attention to the cumulative after-tax retirement income column, and you'll see down there that that's $713,140. That is the amount of the after-tax retirement income that they have gotten from this. Even after paying out, though, all their payments, they're left with a remainder of $30,971. Now, to figure out the return on investment, the ROI, we're going to add up the total benefits. So if someone can take out their calculator on their phone, someone have their phone handy. Can you add up for me $713,140 plus $30,971? Okay, so that is the total amount of benefits that they have received. To figure out the return on investment, the ROI, we're going to divide that by the total amount that this client contributed into this policy, which is $180,000. So we're going to divide that 744 divided by 180 and let me know what you get. Right. It's decimal points. It's percentages. So we're going to bump that decimal point 2 places. So the return on investment with this is 413%. Tax-free. Think about that for a minute. What investments do you guys currently have in your portfolio right now that's not attached to the market, that is associated, you know, with market volatility, that's not attached to the market, that has a return on investment like that, that you can count on for your retirement? So again, I ask you, this is what client B looks like. And this ROI, you guys, it's like in your world of functionality, it would be like someone paying off a 30-year mortgage and then, you know, dividing that by the cost of the home to figure out their return on investment. Same type of thing. It's just different numbers, different scenarios in our world. So this is just, again, we don't make this someone's entire portfolio, but we do like to make it a portion because it's something that you can rely on. It's in that tax-free bucket. whereas your 401k and stuff, our pensions are in that tax deferred. You know, you don't have to pay taxes now, but we will later when they're higher. So if you guys are interested in learning more, or you want to see what these numbers really look like for you individually, that's why Scott and I are here today. We would love to set up. We do free complimentary consultations, so no cost to you. It's a little bit of education, a little bit of information. We take a cohesive look of what you already have going on in your portfolio, and we build on from that. And we would love to be able to show you the flexibility of this and how it can really impact you. So we are going to hang around afterwards here. We got you guys Panera box lunches, and I'm going to have some of that water. My throat is so dry. But while you guys eat, we'll hang out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us. We can, you know, explain things a little more in depth to you. Or if you'd like to schedule something with us and get on our calendar, you know, we would love to take that opportunity as well.
Is there any general questions you guys want to ask right now first?
Oh, yes, we have folders for you guys, but because of the techno difficulties, we weren't able to give them to you ahead of time. So if I could just give those to you really quick, sorry, Janet. Because in there, I did share the financial ratings that I told you guys about. And on the sheet that we gave you, it has the top 25 companies. However, you can Google any companies, banks, credit unions, whatever. Anytime you go to do business with these places, make sure you look for that AAA++ rating. So we have one of those sheets in there for you. We have a little bit more information on this. And then Scott and I also have our business cards and a copy of this illustration, which we were supposed to give you ahead of time.
Want me to hand these out?
Yeah, I can help. Do you want me to help?
Do you guys have any questions? Anyone here have any questions?
And you can keep the folders.
Thank you.
Pens.
Hi, does anybody out there have any questions for our speakers?
Yeah, you're welcome.
See, I might have some here. Let's see.
There you go.
No.
Thank you. There's your bracelet. No problem. Thank you. You're welcome. Congratulations. I heard you just got your license. Yeah. And the sandwiches we have here, we got some Mediterranean veggie in case we have any vegetarians here. There's a bacon turkey bravo. There's a steak roast beef and turkey and avocado BLT. They're lined up back here for you guys.
Okay, there aren't any questions, but thank you so much for coming and presenting to us and for the lunches as well. And I get you'll be sticking around if anyone wants to set an appointment or ask any more questions, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. And thank you, Janet. All right, guys, see you next week. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, someone did have a question. Would we be paying taxes now? Someone did ask a question. Would we be paying taxes now? So not on the money that they submit
So,
or they put into the plan.
That you put into the plan, you're gonna pay taxes on that now, while we know what that looks like. And then in retirement, it's completely tax-free. So you
Oh.
don't even pay taxes on the gains. on the money.
So you just pay on it up front, just like you normally would.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just like with your paycheck.
Okay, awesome. I'll respond. Just, I don't know if she's still there, so.
Casey's taking that out. Casey is the boy.
I'm sorry, Casey.
That's okay.
Okay, there, so Casey, you had a question about the money, taxes being paid, and I put it in the chat, but taxes are paid up front when you make them earn the money, but then when you put it in the plan, and then when it comes time to take the money out, withdraw the money, then the taxes are not paid. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, thank you. I've heard about stuff like that before, so I wasn't sure, but thank you.
Okay, so I think we're gonna go ahead and sign off now. Thank you again for being on this call, and we will see you next week. Take care. And I will get the referral forms out to the people that have texted me. Okay, they should follow. Okay, thank you. Bye now.
Bye.